Hi, lovelies. Welcome to another episode of Healthy Cooking. Today we'll be making okra soup or okra stew, but I'll be using seafood for this okra recipe. You can use any protein of your choice, be it meat, chicken, or whatever. It's the same formula or the same way of making it, but I'm using seafood. So without wasting much time, let's have a look at the ingredients I'll be using for this recipe. So I have my lobsters, I have my squid here, I'm using the tentacle parts, I have my prawns and small shrimps here. I have palm oil, which is optional. You can use plain oil or no oil at all. I have my okra, I have onions, I have scotch bonnet peppers, that's green and yellow. I have garlic, parsley, basil, scallions, ginger. I have my bell pepper. I have dawadawa or locust beans, which is optional. I have salt, and then my shrimps and herrings powder in that plain transparent bowl. This is just to demonstrate how I dress my lobsters. So I'm taking the top part, I'm detaching the top from the bottom, then I take off the part that is like tongues and discard it, and I cook with the rest. But I wouldn't be taking all of, I'll cook some whole. So this is my prawns. I'm taking the shell of it or the skin of it. If you want, you can leave the skin there. There's really no problem with that. And then I'll take off the head. But with the small shrimps, I'll just cook it whole. So as I said, with the lobsters too, is the same thing. You can decide to cook it whole or detach the skin or the rough parts of the lobsters out. So this is how my peeled shrimp is. So I'm going to go ahead and wash my seafood with fresh lime juice. You can use lemon juice or vinegar solution to wash it, but it's necessary to wash your protein even if you are using meat. So as I said earlier, you can use any protein of your choice, be it goat meat, beef or chicken. It's the same procedure. So washing it with the fresh lime and lemon will take off that fresh fishy smell of it. So as you can see, my lobsters, I haven't detached all and I haven't removed the shells from all. So it's up to you to cook it raw, like whole, or take off the skin. So this is my lobster that I'm taking off the shell and detaching it from the rough part. So if you are cooking for kids, it's advisable you dress it up to this level. You take off the shell and then detach it from the rough parts so that it'll be safe for the kids to eat and it wouldn't scare them off. Yeah. So I'm washing all my proteins, that's my prawns, shrimp, squid and lobsters, in lime juice, and then I'll transfer it into a saucepan and continue the rest of the procedure. So if you are using meat, once again, just wash your meat. You don't really have to use seafood. If you are not a fan of seafood or you don't have seafood, just go ahead with any protein of your choice. You can even use mushrooms. Alright, so after washing and disinfecting my proteins, that's my seafood. So if you are using meat, after washing and disinfecting it, the next thing is to cut your veggies, that's the onion, pepper and herb spices, and then you blend it all the way up. But with the shrimps, I'm not marinating it with the octopus or squid and lobsters. I'm marinating it separately and then I'll add it into the pot later on. So I'll just sprinkle a bit of lemon juice on it, and then I'm adding in salt. Don't forget, if you are using seafood, be mindful of the salt because seafood has a lot of salt. You really want your food so salty. I'm just using 1 teaspoon of the salt. This is my shrimps and prawns. I'll marinate it and set it aside. Along the way, I'll add it to the pot, but I wouldn't add it because it's too fragile that when you add it at the beginning, you end up mashing everything into the soup or your stew, and you wouldn't find any shrimps in there. So I'm giving this a stir. Once again, if you are using meat, this is how you go about it, the same procedure. So I'm putting my marinated protein, which is the seafood, on fire to steam a bit. If you are using meat too, the same way, just marinate, put it on fire to steam while I cut my okra. I'll be chopping mine roughly. You can cut yours smoothly, any desired shape of your choice. You can even decide to grate your okra, but this is how I like to cut my okra, so I'll do this for the rest of my okra. So this is what I have here, my boiling seafood. So I'm adding in my palm oil here. This is an easy way of making your okra stew or base for the okra soup. So I'm adding in my palm oil, then I'll go in with the herrings and shrimp powder, and then a bit of salt to taste. If you are using meat, you add in your palm oil. As I said, the palm oil is optional. This is my dawa dawa or locust beans. It's also optional as well. If you don't want it or you don't have it, don't worry, but this is a super healthy spice or ingredient, and I love to cook with it. This is a mixture of herrings and shrimp powder. I'll give that a quick stir and let it cook and simmer. So this is my okra, looking so gorgeous. I'm going ahead to transfer this into a pot and then cook it while my protein is simmering, and then I'll add in about 2 cups of water. So the amount of water you use depends on the quantity of okra, so you can always adjust the water according to the quantity of okra. So give it a stir. The water should be visible, but it shouldn't be too much, and it shouldn't be so invisible unless you want it very thick. I want mine a bit light. So this is my sodium bicarbonate or baking soda. You can use kiwi or kanwa. I don't know how it's called. That's saltpeter, and it's called kanwa in Ghana. So I've added about half teaspoon of the sodium bicarbonate, and then a stir. This is salt, half teaspoon of the salt, and then I'll put this on fire. You will not cover the okra, just allow it to cook open. Okay, so my lobster squid has been cooking for about 10 to 15 minutes now, and it has simmered. You can see that the water isn't much in it anymore. So this is where I go in with my shrimps that I set aside. Remember, shrimps are fragile, so they come in at the end or towards the end part of the cooking. So I'll just give this a stir. If you are using meat, just cook it and let it simmer. And my okra too has started boiling. You don't have to cover the okra. When you cover it, it will overflow into your cooker or stove. And moreover, if you want it very slurpy, you don't have to cover it to retain that slurpiness of it. So this is my chopped onion and pepper, which I set aside, and I'm adding to it just to give it that crunch. When you are eating your okra, you have that crunchiness in it. So see my okra, I've cooked it for 8 minutes under low heat, and it's ready, looking so slurpy. This is the effect of the sodium bicarbonate. Although okra is slurpy, but when you add the sodium bicarbonate, it makes it more slurpy. Yeah. So my stew or base for okra is ready, and then I'll go ahead and transfer my okra into it. Yep, and that is it. Just stir it to combine, and your okra stew or soup is ready. See how good it looks and so slurpy. So if you are new in this channel or today is your first time, kindly subscribe and turn on post notifications and share the link to other people as well, because this is a healthy cooking channel using less monosodium based spices, but yet gaining or getting delicious meals. Yes, so thank you all so much for watching, and I'm enjoying this slurpy okra with oatmeal swallow, which the videos will be uploaded soon. And I hope you try this simple and easy way of making delicious okra, and then share the reviews or leave the reviews as well. And this oatmeal banku or swallow is on my channel. Check it out and make yours. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon. Bye.